A very pink superhero has arrived in Puerto Rico for a unique but unusual mission. Force the government to fix the potholes. Our Christian Ramos actually got to meet this pink superhero and brings us this story.
The streets in Puerto Rico, especially in San Juan, are full of potholes, but there's a citizen dressed like a superhero that has come to the rescue. He's trying to paint and identify every pothole on the island to catch the government attention and push them to repair the streets.
The rescue!
Woo! A month ago, Enrique Rivera, tired of the government inaction, decided to give life to Pink Bubble Superhero to make visible the lack of maintenance on the streets of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, actually, Pink Bubble Superhero, it's me. I'm a former superhero from the Pink Planet. I just came here because my governor, she sent me to help the humans in this planet. They have big problems like this. The potholes is a big problem in Puerto Rico. The governments, they fix sometimes, but sometimes they just forget about this. It's a lot of bureaucracy inside this, and citizens don't understand, but they get desperate. So we decide, me and a bunch of friends, to come to the streets out to do this kind of jobs. So we start marking the potholes since Rincon, Añasco, Aguada, Guarilla, those cities in the west side of Puerto Rico. And actually 2 or 3 days after we identify the potholes, the government fixed the holes. So we see that these things is actually working, and we decide to start coming all over the island. So my Pink Bubbles page, so I just ask for people just drop, the pin, the direction. So we go there, the location and we just like mark the holes. So people are super happy, but we have a lot of petitions right now. We're super busy, yeah.
How many petitions?
Right now, I have more than 500 petitions from at least like 60 something different cities around the island. It's crazy, I know. Yeah.
And you were telling me yesterday that in some holes that you mark right now, the government has taken action.
Yeah, the government take action immediately, 2 or 3 days, and they just like, their holes are fixed, So that's why we decide to move to other cities. So we're expecting the same thing happen here in the capital. Let's see how the mayor and the central government work here. They should come here and fix this. This is too much. It's not just here. A whole San Juan, it's destroyed. Looks like the moon craters.
His labor went viral on social media, and now Pink Bubble Superhero has more than 500 requests from citizens asking him to come to their communities to do his work. Reporting from San Juan, Puerto Rico, Christian Ramos.
All right, thanks, Christian. Meantime, more than 3,000 Haitians have been deported from the U.S. since September 19th. Now, a UN group says they've been returned to Port-au-Prince on repatriation flights. In an exclusive interview, Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry says those returning home are welcome.
For us, all Haitians who return to their native soil are entitled to be welcomed, and we will welcome them as best we can. We will make room for them, and we will try to reintegrate them as best as we can into society. Regarding the deportation, we are not responsible for their deportation. What we are saying is that as long as there are countries that are better off than others, there will always be an appeal towards those wealthier.
And Haitians aren't just fleeing to America in hopes to gain entry into a better future, but the Bahamas right now is also overwhelmed by an influx of Haitians. Our One Caribbean News' Deandra Hamilton reports.
Crises for Haiti are many and are deepening. In response, there is escalating desperation among its millions of people who feel trapped by a life offering little to no prospects, a country torn by political turmoil, failing systems, and devastating natural disasters. Nearby Bahamas is overwhelmed by the influx of Haitians fleeing the poverty.
Well, at present, we are holding 315 persons in custody. Our last group arrived this morning consisting of 52 nationals.
These images shared by the Bahamas government reveal the scale of the situation. More than 500 Haitians, including children, have been apprehended in Bahamian waters this month. 2 sloops were intercepted with the help of the U.S. Coast Guard on Saturday alone. Huddled under a tent, masked and confused about what comes next now that their plan to cross the Atlantic into the United States has gone awry. Less than comfortable conditions, but when faced with the prospect of repatriations, the migrants still shouted,
"Are you
you all ready and willing to go?
But they will be returned to Haiti. This situation in the Bahamas adds to the squalid conditions within which Haitians have been living under the Del Rio Bridge. Hopes to get into the United States at its border with Mexico have been dashed. The U.S. has flown 1,500 Haitians home so far.
Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs who at the moment are in the United States speaking with their foreign affairs counterparts and prime ministerial counterparts in the region to have ongoing discussions as to how we might address these issues going forward.
And that was our Deandra Hamilton reporting there. Well, meantime, Japan is providing Guyana with over $1 million in grant money to help the country combat the pandemic. The country's health minister, Dr. Frank Anthony, said that over the last 6 months, the Ministry of Health had been working on securing the grant, which will be used to purchase much-needed equipment for the health sector. He said the equipment is expected to arrive in the country sometime in November, adding that Guyana has so far received generous donations of personal protective equipment, medical equipment like ventilators, funding and COVID vaccines from several countries, non-governmental organizations, and international partners.
That grant was used to buy various needed equipment for the health sector that would assist us with COVID. So some of the things that we'll be getting through that grant include imaging equipment, ultrasound, where we can use to help with the diagnosis of COVID. We're getting at least 4 different ultrasound machines. We are also getting some sterilizers, ECG machines. We'll get some pulse oximeters and so forth. In addition to that, we are also, through this grant, we'll be getting 4 new ambulances, and most of these things are going to be delivered by the end of this month. Between this month and maybe November, we should be able to get all of the different items.
And a big week is ahead as Pfizer says it plans to ask for authorization of its COVID-19 vaccine for younger children. And today, Mandy Gaither is bringing us the latest on the vaccine timeline for kids ages 5 to 11.
One step closer to better protection for children from COVID-19. In a matter of days, Pfizer CEO says the company plans to apply to the FDA for use of its vaccine in younger children.
If they approve it, we will be ready with our manufacturing to provide this new formulation of the vaccine.
For months, Pfizer has been testing 1/3 of the dose now given to adults and children ages 5 to 11. The company says this formulation is safe for that age group, but the FDA and CDC will have the final say.
As soon as they get submitted to the FDA, I know the FDA is urgently planning to review these data. It will go from the FDA to the CDC, and we will review it with similar urgency, and I'm hoping in the order of weeks.
Before a green light can be given for this vaccine in younger children, there's a lot of data to comb through. But one health expert says if Pfizer applies this week, a decision could come by the end of October.
This is a vaccine for children, so getting the dose right in terms of both efficacy and side effects is crucial.
Right now, Pfizer's vaccine is only approved for use in people 12 and older, but according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, more than 1/4 of all COVID-19 cases reported nationwide are now in children, increasing the urgency to get kids protected.
I wouldn't be so cavalier about this virus. We know that this virus has long-term consequences in a lot of people who contract it, including children.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And now, even when a vaccine does become available, a difficult task lies ahead in getting children vaccinated. Less than half of eligible U.S. adolescents are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. That's according to analysis of CDC data.